have to. We have to reach out. We have to let people know it's okay to feel horrible. It's okay. You're not alone, but
You're not
let's do
alone.
something about it. Let's
Yeah.
get you some good resources in your life that can help turn things around and that you can feel better. You can change. At 64, at 64, I've lost 45 pounds. I've changed my life. I feel so much better. You can change too.
Welcome to the Everyday Epigenetics Raw, Real, Relatable podcast. I'm your host, Susan Robbins, epigenetic human performance coach. This is where we discuss all things lifestyle, environment, food, exercise, work, mind, and social interaction as they pertain to epigenetic expression in a way that's relatable to everyone. So if you're ready to start viewing you as an individual, take control of your life and health, and get results, buckle up, here we go. Welcome to the Everyday Epigenetics Raw, Real, Relatable podcast. I'm your host, Susan Robbins. This is the place where we talk about everything lifestyle and environment and how it relates to your genetic expression. Oh boy, are you in for a fun one today? I've been waiting to get these two on here. So you're going to have to buckle up hard for it. I have two clients on here today. They are sisters. One started Guardian and is now dropped into the cusp of diplomat, and the other one is a diplomat who was way up on the cusp of Guardian. They have so many similarities genetically, it's eerie, but yet they are so vastly different. Different in temperament, different in how their bodies react to things. But the love and the energy coming from these two, wait, as soon as, if you have to watch this, you pull it up on YouTube at some point because you have to see it. They're full of smiles. They just have great energy coming off of them. We've got hormone issues. We've got past GLP-1 use. We have weight loss that had not been occurring whatsoever, constant weight gain. They're in their 50s and 60s. So if you're menopausal, postmenopausal, you want to pay attention here because we were chatting beforehand and I said, the struggles that you guys have gone through with doctors, add in thyroid here too.
Yeah.
And the hormones, the struggles that both of them have gone through with physicians, many of you will relate to. And you can see how, guess what? We can all work together. And when you can dial in with precision what's happening with this body, that the way it's created, but through the genetics, through the pH 360, it will blow your mind the differences that you can get. And these two are going to inspire the hell out of you, like I said, and they're going to make you laugh, and they're going to make you maybe tear up like I did a little bit when one just said she dropped past a weight plateau and the other sister about jumped through the computer. I was like, I wish we would have had this reveal because the mother was like, what? I wish we had this reveal before or while we were actually on this podcast because it was so touching and just such real emotion. And I've told them, just be you. We are raw and real here, and they will be totally relatable. You will see. So I'm going to encourage you all to share this podcast out there because every single one of you, if it's not you, are going to know someone like one of these women. So I've got on with me, I've got Pam.
Hi.
Is the older sister, and she was the catalyst to all of this.
Yes.
And then we have Leslie.
Hello, everyone.
And we've got Pam is hailing from Texas, and Leslie is in the great state of Georgia. Let's just start off with just kind of what we're gonna do here, just so you guys are aware. Not you two, but everybody. So everybody's aware. We're just gonna start with them together at first to say, like, how did you guys come here to me? How did you find me? How did you get kind of where were you a little bit to get going in a program such as this, working through genetics? And then we're going to split off and do both of them individually because, again, their journeys, though similar, are very, very different in experience. And they're going to be very honest with you. What has been great and things that were tended to be easier and the struggle bus parts. And you will love how they have named their foods. and and what they've learned on this journey about themselves, about everything, about life, and the what a diplomat and a guardian are like, and how
Yeah.
it just they embody. It's eerie. They embody both of them so much because they're both cuspers. So one has more of a predominant of one and a secondary of the other, and the other one is the opposite. So
Yeah.
it's again, I think you'll hear this similar to when we did the St. Ledger ladies and it was the mom and two daughters, three
Yeah. I remember
diplomats,
that.
all different. It's
Yeah.
spectrum. You guys, though, are both up on the guardian cusp. So you'll see more similarities between you two than there were the mother and the three daughters because they were so vastly different. So let's start off, and whichever one of you wants to take, let's start with Pam because
Yeah.
you were the catalyst.
I was. I
You hopped aboard the
was.
ship first, and then you pulled everybody off their lifeboats and in. So tell us a bit like, where were you? How did you find me? And what got everything started?
Okay. I'm going to tease Leslie here. God was with me more than her. No.
Oh, no, he wasn't.
Because I honestly say God puts people in front of me when I need them. And Susan, you literally came up in a little tiny feed in Facebook under one of my girlfriends that was saying, "Oh, I'm working with this epigenetic coach and I'm feeling so great," or whatever. And when I read that little message in your name, I was in such a state at that point. I was in such a state. And we'll go more into detail, so I don't want to
Yes.
overload it now. But basically, for about the past 5 to 7 years before this year, I had been at a good weight and healthy. Leslie looked at pictures of me, and she was like, "I didn't know you were that skinny." I was healthy, but I think it's that around that COVID time frame. And
Mm,
I had some moves and things were going on. I just slowly started gaining, and nobody along the way would help me. Nobody, nobody. And I was trying all my old methods, Weight Watchers and blah, 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 all these, nothing was working. And I just felt terrible. And so when that little teeny tiny message came across, I was just like, what? Really, epigenetic coach? What? So
what is this?
I listened to a couple of your podcasts. I listened to the one about the mom with the two daughters, right? The three diplomats, and just a couple of these things. And I just thought, I have to try this. Because the whole point was figure out what your body needs. And that's what I was feeling. I was feeling so neglected, like nobody could help my body, right? Nobody. All the other things that used to help my body weren't working, and nobody could help my body now. And I just felt so alone in my struggle of how I was feeling and my weight and everything like that. So after listening to your podcast and kind of getting an overview picture of, okay, I'm going to really learn about myself was the overview of it. And so I reached out to you. And so that was the beginning.
That began the history. And
That began the snowball.
that was back in it was end of December.
Yes, I didn't really
Yeah,
start with you till January.
to
I think that was
January.
the
Yeah.
first reach out. And then in January, we got set up and I started doing labs and measurements and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right after we talked, so we did the consult, got you signed on, and then it was about an hour later, you came on and said, I talked to my husband.
Did I get him on board that quick after me? Was it
Yeah.
really right away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It was like an hour. You said he wants to come on too. It was
Because
pretty quick.
he was feeling the same way as I was. He really was. We were just sick of our weight. We were sick of being tired. We were sick of not knowing what to do. Everything we tried, nothing was working.
Yeah.
No plans, nothing. We were like, okay, I'm just tired of this. And so I think what it was is when I said I was going to do it, he was like, just resign. I'm going to have to do it anyway because you're going to be doing it and you cook the meals. So I might as well do it properly. It was sort of a resignation for him. Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And
But
you go ahead.
no, but he did it, right? And
Yeah.
that's the
But he
point. He
did it
signed
too.
up and he did it. I don't care how he got here.
Yeah.
I didn't quite remember the timing of him getting here, but he got here, and that
He
was the
did.
important thing.
And we did labs in the beginning, and it took a few weeks for the DNA to come in. So we tweaked, and we'll talk more in detail stuff, but we
Yeah.
ended up tweaking after the DNA came in because that was more revealing. And what was interesting with you and your husband, you both, if anybody's been listening to my podcast and I did the genetic based lipid disorders, you both
Yes.
had the LP little a.
Yes. You were
With
talking about us. So
it.
go back and listen to that podcast and you'll know, oh, it's Pam and her husband.
Yep, 100%. And then Pam also, and we'll get when we talk more in depth with Pam about Pam's journey. Also, the other lipid disorder, the phytosterolemia, ABCG8 genes, Pam totally positive. And Leslie also. So these are things very familiar, but Leslie does not have the LP little a. So that was interesting. I was like, oh, and when people ask, do genetics really matter? Okay, Pam and Jim, that's Pam's husband, both have the LP little a, and it expresses. It's high in both of theirs,
Yeah.
and they have children.
Yeah.
So that knowledge for the children and the grandchildren is hugely impactful. Whether the kids choose at this stage to start looking at it or not, at some point it'll need to be addressed and looked at and see, is this happening? But when
Yeah.
you have both parents and there's genetics in play, so that's how valuable that can be. All right, so then how did because I very much remember how it went down with Leslie coming on.
Oh, okay, good.
So it would have been that I was there for mom's birthday. So March.
Oh, yeah, March. Yeah, okay. Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep. Thank you for the dates. I didn't
So
know.
I would have started with you January. So I would have been 2 months in.
Yes.
I went to see you in March, and you already saw a difference in me
Huge.
within 2 months. And yeah, just striking. Just the way I looked, the way I
The
felt,
clothes you were
just
wearing. Yep.
all different kinds of things. It was already really impacting my life. So I show up, and I tend to do this in my family's life. Show up doing something new, and they're all like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you guys, it's working." So I'll let you go from there, Leslie, what you
Well, yeah, you
think.
came out for Mom's birthday, and your whole face had changed, Pam. You weren't puffy, you weren't swollen, your neck, oh my God, everything. And you and I have been talking for years now about this whole weight issue and what a struggle it's been a real struggle.
Right.
So when you came out, yeah, I of course I want to know what you're doing because like you, nothing was working
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I'm kind of one of those that will not inject things in my body that I don't want foreign substances in my body. I don't think that's necessary, but let's find the root cause. So when you mentioned Susan, I was very interested, but you always have the price barrier, right? So it was just like, oh God. And Pam's like, nope, went all in it. Jim and I went all in it. We just paid the full price. We're going for it. And I'm like, if I want to change my life, I have to do
Yeah.
this seriously. And I'm one that will put everybody else first and not myself. And I was like, no, this time I need to do something. So I remember talking to Dave about it. And of course, he didn't like the price sticker, but in the long run, every pound I have lost is worth that full price.
It's every penny.
Someone came
Every
back to me and
penny.
said you got to pay that full price for
Yeah.
each pound I lost, I would do it because I can't believe my body. I sit on the scale and I'm just like, oh my God, this is real. This is real. I'm really going down. I'm not going up. I haven't done that in God. I was looking at some old journals like 10 years ago, maybe
Mhm.
2016. I started 2017, 18. I was starting to gain weight. So it's crazy. But anyways, yeah. So from there, I met Susan, loved her, ready to do it. Unlike Pam, I did talk to my husband, and it's interesting. We almost have the opposite. He's the cook in the family. So it was a different experience for me. And he does want to do it, but it means a lifestyle change. And you have to be mentally ready for that
You're
lifestyle
ready.
change. And
Mhm.
he's not. So I'm not going to be a nag and push him. Although Susan knows I'm very worried. I think as he's seen the results in me, it's definitely inspiring him. So I'm hoping he'll get on board soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I come back to visit, and he sees me again 45 pounds lighter.
Jim too. It'd be
Yeah.
really.
So you're 45 pounds down. Jim
Yeah.
is your husband. He's
30.
30.
Yeah.
And Leslie had the big reveal
Yeah.
right before we got on here
I'm
that
still in shock.
Yeah.
you
Sorry,
both of
guys.
you, Pam started at 230 pounds. Leslie started at 235.
Yeah.
And Leslie, what did you just hit today?
I just hit 198. I have not broken 200 in over flipping 10 years. What the hell?
Yeah.
So
That
cool.
is so awesome, Leslie. It's
I
so,
know. Well, I know where you feel now, sis,
yeah.
but it's almost surreal, right? It's
It
like
is.
I
It
can
is. And for
back up.
us who have been struggling with this for so long,
Yep.
for a couple of weeks after I hit below that 200, I was scared to go on the scale in case it had
Yep.
bounced back up, right?
And that's what I've been doing every day.
And
I'm like
it
nervous to go. I'm
didn't.
like, this is
It
lying to me.
hasn't.
There's no way. And I get on it and it's like, no, it's still there. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going
Yeah.
down again, Susan.
Yeah.
Crisis over. My body is
Yeah.
is
It
doing what you
releases again.
said.
Yeah.
And what's interesting with these bodies, your Diplos and Guardians, these are bodies that really store under stress.
Yeah.
It's more prone to things around insulin, which is a storage hormone, right? Storing hormone. And both of you have been through some massive, massive stressors. And we can talk about some of that when we talk individually.
Yeah.
And you both were in total shock that typically these are bodies that will start gaining under that stress. Or if you
Yeah.
have someone around you that's stressed, you're going to gain their stress, right?
Yeah.
As in the form of body fat. And the both of you have maintained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's huge.
Especially for
Huge.
recent life
Yeah.
events. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And neither one of you has been 100%. No one is on, I'm not 100%. That's what I
Yeah.
tell people. But when you're doing the right things at the right times for you and understanding your body, this is where we see real change. So this is not a crash diet, and it's
No.
been tweaked. Both of your diets have been tweaked as we've gone.
Yeah.
With how you're responding. And again, when we get labs back, we see because things change, it changes seasonally. You'll have foods come up the list, down the list, hormonally, all these different things contribute.
Yeah.
So it's very dynamic. It is not a static, here's a diet, go and run with it. Here's carnivore or keto or vegetarian or whatever, a label on it that you follow. It's
Yeah.
you have some similarities, but actually very different, even though you have some similarities, right? Because how things are expressing differently. So I remember the consult with Leslie. It was a long one. It's supposed to be a 20-minute, 30-minute consult. I think it was almost 90 minutes. We were on the phone or on the Zoom, just blah, 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 going and going. All questions, but we were just having a blast. And it was like, all right, we have to work together. And it's been just so fun when you look at the three of them, Pam, Jim, and Leslie, and you put it together that they've lost collectively over 100 pounds.
Yeah.
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 In a matter of months, right? Yeah. But look how healthy you look.
Yeah.
Your skin, your hair, you're not bags of bones with skin hanging off, right? You still maintaining the beautiful
the
diplomat
70-year-old with
strong.
smoker skin and
right. You look strong and healthy. Your skin tones are beautiful. And that's what I've noticed every time we come on, because it's every couple of weeks or so, just seeing the glow. Come on, and how much healthier. I didn't even realize how much Pam had lost because yes, the weight is a big part because we want healthy weight, right? It's about the weight being unhealthy. But it's how are you feeling? How is life for you? These are the changes we look at. So we don't just focus on weight, because the weight loss is the byproduct of your body getting into flow, right?
It is.
And so I hadn't really realized what Pam had lost. So I'm in a meeting with Jim, her husband, and she walks in and walks by and I go, wait a minute, because all I see is her head, right? What you're seeing right now, if you're looking at us, it's all I see. So I don't really see the body. That's why I always can look at the face and go, man, look at your face.
Yeah.
When she walked by at one point, I go, come back. Can you come back here a minute? Because she had this long flowy shirt on over a more form-fitting shirt. And I said, how much have you actually lost right now? It was so evident when I saw the body walk by that it just blew my mind. Leslie Leslie, I always get a further pan out of her than I do Pam. And if you're watching, you'll see the difference.
Yeah.
And Leslie, I could, her, I've been able to see every time she comes on. I'm like, how much more are you down? Because both of them, the Diplo Guardian type face is typically a bit rounder. The Diplomat a little bit longer. Leslie's got the longer face. Pam's is a little more rounded. But the difference in, you guys had said on this with the swelling, the
Yeah.
puffy on the faces, under the neck. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
just it's we'll have to do some before and afters, some up if we can find some for show notes or something,
Yeah.
because it is such a vast difference.
Yeah.
But again, it's something that came along with everything else happening. And so I think this would, but then, so then if we go back, a little background here, Pam has a new business she began,
Yeah.
moved from Europe
Yep.
with her husband from Europe after years in Europe
Yeah.
back to Texas. So this is in your 60s starting over again.
Yeah.
Little bit stressful, both of them in new businesses at this
Yeah.
age. Major stressors there. And then Leslie has their 94-year-old mother living with she and her family.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's a
In
lot.
addition to starting her business
And her business starting
and
too.
Baby
couple
research.
children and running their household, and there's my 94-year-old mom hanging out.
Mm.
With a guardian at that time who is all about the caretaking. And
Yeah.
like she said, putting herself last,
Yeah.
right?
Always,
All
yeah.
of these things were more important. So the weight, as she said in her intake form, my weight is ridiculous. And it was a constant gain,
Yeah.
just a
Correct.
constant gain. She's like,
Correct.
it's not no matter what I do. And we're going to talk about the grape nuts, but
We could talk about a lot of things that I had to
Yeah.
discover gaining weight
Yep.
that I'd never experienced in my life.
for time constraints, Pam has some time constraints with work, so she may have to drop off at some point, may not. But if you see her disappear or hear her
Yes.
disappear,
It's nothing personal.
Okay, thanks. sis.
it may be when we get into your intake form and what
No,
you're
not even that. I'm like, whatever. Whatever.
Right.
because I went in and pulled their intake forms because we look at what they're eating, what the lifestyle was, and when you hear the differences of how they live now in their flow, it's going to be pretty amazing. But we're going to start with Pam for that reason too. We were thinking about starting with Leslie, but I think it's actually probably smarter to start with Pam just
Okay.
in case you have to drop
Yeah.
off, so we're not at the end
Okay.
going, we just got to you. Hey, it's been
Okay.
real. So
Okay.
I think it's probably smarter to do that. If
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's
we're
good.
good with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So what were some of the things you were feeling? Because we didn't go too much into it because we knew we were going to go individually here.
Yes.
When
Yes.
you came to me, what were some of the things you were feeling, and what were the things that you tried prior?
Okay. All right. Wow.
I
This is
can
really-
look in here and
This
tell
is really
you.
deep. So
Yeah, it is.
I was feeling really hopeless, okay? Because I had been on other programs in the past that had worked very nicely. Weight Watchers. It's not a bad program. It helps you can be accountable for what you're eating, whatever. And in the past, after my babies or whatever, I'd lost 20 pounds. One time I lost 40 pounds. So I had tools that I had used as my younger self when your body is more resilient that had worked with my type of body. Okay. So I think a couple things happened. I had compression fractures because I had osteoporosis very young, 55. Okay.
That is young.
At that time in my life, I actually was good weight and very physically active. I had hurt my back horseback riding, so I was quite active back then. But nobody ever looked at the big picture. Okay, so they're just like, oh, osteoporosis, here, start taking Fosamax. Nobody ever did anything else, right? And every time I moved countries, so at this time I'm living in Europe, just so you know, and I'm going to put a little soapbox in here, socialized healthcare is crap. The healthcare in Europe is crap. It's hurting cattle. I was a cow. They got me through the offices as quick as I could. I never got good individualized care. So I remember going to a German doctor and he tells me drink a gallon of milk a day, your osteoporosis will be fine.
Oh my God.
Okay? That was healthcare in Germany for me, right? I go to Norway. Norway is #1 in the world for osteoporosis. You think they would have looked at hormones, maybe, thyroid, maybe, other
Stress?
things to what else is going on besides this osteoporosis, right? That we can work with her whole body. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. I got IV Fosamax there, which is the stuff,
Yep.
right? That was it. And then after I got a few doses of that, they're like, why don't you stop for a year or two and let's see what your body does with this now?
Now, question. You said they're #1 in the world for osteoporosis,
Yeah.
for rates of osteoporosis? Really? I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's because it's genetically because of the dark in the women and the vitamin D and what is
Could be.
genetically
Yeah.
happened to them. And they're very aware of that. And in a couple of generations, that will probably start to shift because of our knowledge of what's
Mhm.
going on. But the thing that really got to me was that they never looked at anything else. And I was gaining weight. I was struggling. I just didn't feel good. I just
Yeah.
felt like something was wrong, right? I felt like I was on the verge of becoming diabetic or having a heart attack or something. I just felt icky in my body and I couldn't figure it out. So guess what? In Norway, oh, you want to go on GLP-1 shots? Sure, here they are. Take it home. Bye. So I go on it. Okay. I'm on it for about a month. I lost maybe 10 pounds. Okay. So I'm like, right, my first 10 pounds in a few years. And then I cannot poop.
Oh
So I
God.
go back to the doctor and he's like, just take some laxatives, do an enema, whatever. Don't worry about it. Now, my background, I am a nurse, right? I'm a registered nurse. I go home and I do that for about a week. And man, my nursing red lights were just going
Mhm.
off. Pam, you know this is bad for your body. You do not need to be shoving stuff up there to poop every day. So I just stopped, right? I just stopped. And I'm telling you guys, it took months after that, months for me to be able to go regularly again.
And did
It
you have
was terrible.
you have the diverticulitis? Was
I have
that
that too.
also happening at that same time?
Oh,
Come
well,
later.
no, because the GLP-1 just shut my whole intestines down, so nothing would happen, right? I'd eat, and it would just sit there.
Oh,
So it was just terrible. It was absolutely terrible. What it did to my body, it put me back again. So I just that 10 pounds, no, I put on 20 after that.
wow.
So so by the time I reached the States, yeah, we were really, really stressed. That the move back to the States was not planned. My husband's position went away. We get back to the States. We can't access any of our money. We can't access any retirement money because in Europe, you can't get it till you're 67, and we were 60. So what are we supposed to do for the 7 years? So we had to both try and invent jobs for I don't know what, right? And start a business. And so it just the stress was horrendous for us. We were just bundles of nerves. And so the weight kept going up, kept going up.
Yeah.
And I was trying things when I got back to the States. I was trying to program. It's very similar to Weight Watchers, the tracking of your food, the weekly meeting with the group, the check-in, the weight check-in every
Mhm.
week, blah, 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 these kinds of things. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing was working for me. So literally, when your name came across Facebook, I was in a state of, I do not know what to do. I don't know what to do. No, nobody's looking at me. I had been to my new GP here in the States a couple of times, and he didn't seem to think that a 230-pound woman who's tired all the time was a problem.
Wow.
That ain't no problem. Just
Wow.
keep going here. Take your SSRI. Keep going, sweetie. And I'm like, look at me. Somebody just
Mhm.
look at me, please. And you looked inside me, which was even better. With the DNA and the labs and that deep dive, we figured out what was going on. And now that we know my body type, we know my DNA, we know my genetics, it all makes so much sense. Everything that my body has been through, it makes so much sense. And now moving forward, it's like I know. Okay, this is going on. Your little body's doing this, so let's just help it. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's help
Yeah.
this little body through this because this is your body. I'm sorry, I
Mhm.
can't change my DNA. I can't change what I
Well,
am.
you can change how that DNA expresses
Yes.
your
Yeah.
lifestyle and the
Yeah.
environment. That's the
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
Because you have some good DNA and then you have some not so good propensities, as we talked about,
Yeah.
especially like lipids around saturated fats. But
Yeah.
I'm going to go a bit into the labs that
Okay.
that you had where you started.
Okay.
You had you were 230 when you started. You were eating
Yes.
sugary or sweet treats 2 to 3 times a day. Here's Pam's. Because we said we were going to chuckle about this. The lunch was snack plate, lunch, meat, cheese, cucumber. Now we know that the diplomat body lunch should be the biggest, heartiest
Right.
meal, right? Healthiest, and then light at night. And light was meat and veggies, and then evening snack, sometimes ice cream or chips, 1 to 2
Yeah.
cups. And I love that you guys we're open to being just really open and honest here,
Yeah.
because this is what's going to help people. Because
Yeah.
there's so many people out there that are feeling like you
Yeah.
right now. The both of you. We hear Leslie's. Hers is coming up, people. And just starting the day off with coffee, things like that. But again, the weight gain, fatigue. So when we looked at the labs first. Oh, no, wait. First session with Pam. I will never forget this. Her histamine was so bad that she was I thought she might have Asian in her. Her eyes were little almonds, right?
She told me that. I was like, Susan, they didn't pay out.
Because she had these tiny little almond eyes, right? Like the
Yes.
very narrow,
Yeah.
because you could hardly open them.
Yeah.
It was, and this was not, please, I am not racist. This is not
No, I
anything
know,
against
no,
Asian
I know,
people. It's
I
just,
know. But I
no,
was just
it
like,
was
I
more like
remember that and I was
Mr. Magoo.
sneezing and I was
Yes.
like, oh, it's my allergies.
It was allergy. Yep. And she
But
literally was like this.
yeah,
Couldn't stop, couldn't breathe, but it was so bad. And that you were distracted, but because you were
yeah,
so miserable. You're like, I can't even think, I'm miserable. And so histamine was just out of control. And that was, I could see it visually. So what she was feeling, and I've had the histamine issues, I get it. So January labs, we find very high ferritin, 191. So really high iron stores there. So there you've got likely some oxidative stress happening, which we already figured there's a reason this is happening. When we looked at her thyroid. Okay, thyroid people, pay attention. If you know
yeah,
anything about thyroid, this one's going to make you wake up. Her free T3 was a bit low. It was like 2.8. So optimally, we want to be up around 3.5, depending on how you're feeling. You felt like shit, so it's going to be super low,
yeah,
right? That's going to be low for you. Free T4 was actually in really good range, and the TSH was, again, optimal when you're
yeah.
looking at those. Reverse T3, we want to be around 12 or
Yeah.
less. Three,
Yeah. I
one of
mean,
the higher ones I've seen.
awful.
And I was
Yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
So T4 converts. So people that don't know this, think of the train going down the track. The train is T4 and it needs to convert. It's inactive, needs to convert to T3, which is free T3. So the body can use it. Metabolism, hair growth, energy, right?
Yeah.
There's a little turn off that this train can go to, and it's reverse T3. And you'll see that for a couple of reasons. One is something super stressful, an accident where the body's like, don't need to grow hair, don't need metabolism right now. We need to shut things down. Or extreme stress,
Yeah.
all these things you have been discussing, right? Very, very stressful. Or you can have, like I have, an issue with conversion genetically. I have all the variants. So T4 goes to T3 or over to reverse T3
Right.
hugely for me. So we knew it was going to be one of those things happening here, or
Right.
potentially more, right? But at least one of those things for a reverse T3. And knowing all the stress you were going through.
Yeah.
So we had that going on. We said, all right, we definitely are going to need some medical assistance here because I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose, treat, or cure. I connect dots.
Yeah.
And then we had insulin resistance. So
Yeah.
you had glucose over 100, your insulin, which we want under 6, usually about 4 to 6 is wonderful. You were at 8.7, so higher insulin there. A1C, you were borderline at 5.6. And the pre-diabetes quote cut off around 5.7. So again, super borderline, and it was moving up. That was the issue.
Yeah.
And then we look at the LPIR score, and that came up as 50. And so that was showing insulin resistance as well. So we knew that was happening for one. Then we had the high iron, and then we had the thyroid, right? And again, all of these things play together. All these systems work together. So when people focus on one gene SNP, one or two of those, or they're focusing on one or two lab values, you can't. You have to look at this complex system that is the body. And then, but definitely postmenopausal hormones. They were like, we're like looking with a telescope. Where are they?
Yeah.
There is none of anything.
Nobody had ever looked at my hormones. And I'm a 60-year-old woman that's 230 pounds.
Yeah.
Nobody looked at all. That was the
Nothing.
first hormone test I have ever had, ever.
Wow. It was nothing.
Yeah.
Your HSCRP, this is a major inflammation marker. We want that to be, they say under 1, but ideally around 0.7. If you have other things going on, around 0.6 is even better. 2.43. So we know there's inflammation happening in the body. High
Right.
homocysteine, which indicates could there be some MTHFR variants happening there? Because homocysteine, we want around 6 to 8, definitely around 8 or less. High uric acid, and you're a body more prone to things like gout or uric acid buildup. So that was happening. That was increased risk for gout there. And then we get to the lipids. We had, so the high LPA, LP little a, and we're like, oh, okay, so this is genetically driven. LP little a in and of itself, go back, people, listen to my, if your LPA is elevated, your LP little a, or you're genetically prone to it, listen to the podcast I did with Dr. Tom Dayspring. It was part 2 of genetic-based lipid disorders. So we don't just look at the LP little a, we look at everything in totality. And this is where your LDL cholesterol was 99. It's under 100. You look and go, it's perfectly fine. We know genetically you do not process fats, especially saturated fats. So that was playing a part. Triglycerides were 75. Those were fine. And so you would have somebody looking at just the cholesterol and go, oh shit, she looks good. Don't worry about it, right? All these don't worry about cholesterol things. Here's high LPA. And then your apolipoprotein B, which is a transporter, that one was borderline high too. You were at 82 and you wouldn't be under 90. But when you're looking at all of this together, you had low HDL particles, you had high LDL particles, right? Which can become, was it atherogenic? I may have said that wrong. So anyhow, they can become a problem. Let's say that when you have that high LPA and you have that apolipoprotein B, which was likely going upward at that point too, trajectory wise. And then low vitamin D, you were 49 vitamin D. Put all of this together and you see a body that is in metabolic stress. You got metabolic syndrome going on here.
Yeah.
Again, can't diagnose, but you see all these things happening. And you say, these cells are like, there's
suffering. My body was suffering and I was feeling it in just this constant unease, like something is wrong. Something is wrong. Yeah. I was feeling it.
And all of these things changed. Okay, I wrote
so I'm going to put in 2 things here really quick. Okay. So the first thing is when those labs came back, pre-diabetic, insulin resistant, right? So I tell my children, hey, guess what they do, right? I get this meme back from my son. And it's a meme of a father looking at a report card with his child there and just frowning and shaking his head. But the sentence under the meme is you looking at your parents' lab results with this frown and shaking your head. And I was just like, thanks a lot, Taylor. So my kids were like, what the heck is wrong with you and
Yeah.
Dad? Oh my God.
Oh,
F,
yeah.
F,
Because
F.
his were
Okay.
worse. His were
Yeah, they
even
were.
worse. So
So
you
this is
guys were
the
together going down
this is
this
the
road.
really sad thing.
Yeah.
That exact lab report is what I walked into my GP doctor's office with.
Yep.
I walk in with this report and he goes, looks pretty good.
Oh,
And I'm like, what about the reverse T3?
I love
I don't
this.
know anything about that. I could send you to a specialist, but I don't
He
know
said
what
he'd never heard of reverse
yeah,
T3.
he didn't know what it was. He said, I Googled it. I don't know what it is.
And he couldn't do anything with the hormones either.
But the thing is, he
Yeah.
looked at all the other stuff, all the pre-diabetic, the insulin, the lipids, everything. He looked at the labs. He just flips through. Wow, this is really thorough. Wow. Okay, looks good.
Yeah. And
And
I had written him a letter
yes, to go with it. I don't know
asking,
what
can we
epigenetic
get
coaching is. He was so dismissive.
Yeah.
But what was sad was because that first level of the lipids, your HDL, LDL, I
Mhm.
was within range
It
of
was
that
within
one. I
range.
was high on one, low on the other, right? And he just tells me, "Oh, looks fine."
Yeah. This is
I'm
why we
like,
do the deep dive.
"What? Look at me. I am 230 pounds. I'm exhausted. And look at the rest of the labs." And they just did. So that was my experience. It was really,
Yeah.
really hard. I had felt so neglected for so long. You finally were starting to show a picture of what's going on inside me. And still, people were like, pushing me off, pushing
Yeah.
me off. We
Still
had to get
dismissed.
help in a different way because I needed
Yeah.
help
And we
desperately. I
did.
needed help.
And that's the
Mm.
beauty. I hooked you up with somebody.
Yes,
We got you on,
exactly.
and it was a very minute amount of
Oh my
T3.
goodness. The lowest.
The
The
lowest, 5
lowest.
micrograms.
Yes.
Teeny,
Teeny.
teeny. Got you onto that, onto some hormones. So
Yeah.
we got that cooperation. That's what I tell people. I love to work with physicians because when you have that cooperation, who wins? You do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I
Yeah.
am all lifestyle. I don't claim
Yeah.
to be. There's some coaches out there that claim to be the practitioners. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not a practitioner. I don't
Yeah.
claim to be. I'm all lifestyle. But look at the difference you can get
Yeah.
through lifestyle.
Yeah.
So we made lots of changes with you.
Lots of changes. And just
Yeah.
so you know, people who are listening, it was slow. Okay. You don't change yourself overnight. I even will mentally tell myself, okay, I'm not feeling really well. I'm going to talk to Susan and I'm going to do one thing she says because Susan will tell me 10 things that my body needs. And
But we always narrow it down to
I
one or
will
two.
pick one and I'll
Yes.
be like, this is the one thing I'm going to change this week because it's hard, you guys. It's hard when you've been living a certain way your whole life to all of a sudden realize, okay, it may have worked when you were younger, when your body was more resilient and able to repair easier. But as you get older, you need to take better care of your body and you need to do what it needs. And those changes do need to happen, but it's
Mhm.
slow. It's a slow process. So, should I talk about the most difficult changes then for me?
Yeah, I just want to touch on
Okay,
that because there's always several things that need to be changed. But
absolutely.
it's working with the individual. When you have
Yes.
a guardian or a diplomat, one or two things at a time,
Yeah.
especially a diplomat, because
Yeah.
you can get into that analysis paralysis. This is too much and I'm out. And that
Yeah.
can happen
Yep.
with a lot of
Yep.
programs.
Yep.
So I always say, what are the one or two things you want to concentrate on? And you pick, let's get you a win.
Yep.
That's what's about. Get
Yep.
those wins. And Pam has to sometimes be reminded a lot about the wins.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that one. Yeah, definitely. I'm always bottom of the totem pole. My wins don't count, right? Everybody else's wins are awesome, like my sisters, but mine are
Yes.
bottom of the totem. So I do. You're absolutely right. I have to remind myself over and over where I've come from, where I am now, the progress that I've made.
Oh, it's
Absolutely. Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk about your the things that were the biggest struggles for you.
So I would say one of the biggest ones was switching my biggest meal to lunch.
Mhm.
And you know what? That is bred into us from childhood. You throw the sandwich and a piece of fruit in a lunchbox, and that's your lunch, right? So your whole life, your mind frame is quick lunch, something small, just get me just get me through, whatever kind of thing. And that has just been my frame of mind my whole life. It's been my frame of mind. When I finally get home from work, whatever, okay, now let's cook up the big meal.
Big
We have
dinner.
time. Let's sit down as a family at the dinner table and have our big meal. So it's like bred into you that that is the way your life should look. So that was a really hard transition, a really, really hard transition. And I'm just going to tell people, you just take it one step at a time. It doesn't happen overnight. You work on it, you work on it, you work on it. And with that, as I started having bigger lunches, hotter lunches, things like that, we started to slow down the dinners. And that took a lot of tweaking. And we had
Yep.
to end up with my delightful baby food dinner. Now,
Because we had I
yes,
think it's important.
I've got
You
a lot
had
of things going on.
diverticulitis flare. The
Yes,
stress got crazy,
yes.
major diverticulitis flare.
And the
Um,
cortisol wake up at night and
yeah,
all these things I
you
really
went off
needed
the
to.
SSRI.
Yes. Yes. And
Right.
so all
It
these
was a
shifts,
lot.
I know it was all a healthy thing, but I still have to joke about it. And just so you know, my husband Jim loves my baby food. I'm really good at it. Really good. I have a couple soups that we make for the week, blend those little suckers up, flavor them up, freeze them in little cubes so that at nighttime we just pull out our little cube of soup and we sit there and have our dinner together. And that's our routine and we like it. We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's our
And
life
you're
now.
walking together. You take your walks.
We take our walks after
Yeah.
dinner. So we have made so many changes. It makes me laugh to hear you talk about my intake and what I was doing back in January when we first started this, at how different it is. But what I'll notice though is that we went away for a week to Corpus Christi and with all the kids. And so we could not maintain our specific routine. We tried as much as we could throughout the day, but we really couldn't maintain it. And it was okay. I didn't gain weight. But as soon as I got back home and got back on my routine, it's like my body just went,
Oh,
oh, thank you. And it just felt better to be on my routine than on the other routines that the kids have in their lifestyles around the grandbabies. So your body adapts. You have to make the changes. For me, I had to go really slow. Some of them were a little bit uncomfortable. Susan is so kind. She puts up with some little bit of griping. I was pretty upset at the baby food initially.
yeah. Oh boy. I could feel it. I could feel it through the emails. That's why I'd be like, "Do you want to talk? Let's just talk.
Really?
Let's just have a quick chat." So I could hear her start to come back again because I
Yeah,
didn't want her going down that rabbit hole of
yeah,
despair feeling
yeah.
that Diplos can easily do because it's
But that's
uncomfortable.
but that's the nice thing
Yeah.
about having you as a coach is that
Yeah.
that's what we need. People who are struggling with our bodies. Change is hard. Change is hard in our bodies. Our bodies resist it. Our minds resist it. We need coaches that can guide us over those humps because when we get over those humps, we feel better on the other side.
Yep.
And yeah, there's another hump coming up that I got to
Yep.
work at getting
Always.
over again, but that's okay because once you get over them, we know we feel better on the other side. And
Yeah.
that's where having you and working with you was invaluable. There's no way I could have made these changes by myself. You know,
No.
if I read a list of them and say, here, you need to do
Yeah.
this. No way. You can't. You really
And
need that support.
and I would hear from you pretty regularly. This is happening. This is happening. And then
Yeah.
when I wouldn't, I'm checking in going, is everything okay? And you're like, things are going well. Or I was afraid to reach out. Never be afraid to reach out because we
Yeah.
can't tweak if we don't know what's
Yeah.
happening. So the communication part is so important. So
And
important.
I'm sure there are tons of women who are like me that you think if you ignore it, it'll go away. And so that's something that I'm still working on because
Yeah.
things would change in my body and I would feel certain things and I'd be like, oh, if I just ignore this, it'll go away. And
Yep.
after about a week, Susan's, what's going on, Pam? And I would have to admit, I'm feeling this way. And she's, why didn't you reach out earlier? And I'm thinking, I was hoping it would go away. I was hoping if I just ignored it, it would leave. So, no, we can't ignore it. We have to listen. We have to
Yeah.
start to listen to our bodies. And I think that's a really hard thing for some of us women is to listen to
Oh,
our
and men.
bodies, pay attention when our bodies are telling us something, and then reach out to a good source that can help us and help our bodies readjust to whatever it is that we need to do.
So I want to go over some of these changes you had in labs after
Okay.
we did a lab recheck, because this is pretty awesome. And also for those of you interested in the DNA part, here's what Pam was hit with genetic propensities that were all hitting her in the face. Slow COMT.
Yeah.
Homozygous for the 677T MTHFR, which is about 25% activity there. Add those two together right off. Then you have the ABCG8 genes, which is around the phytosterolemia risk. Then we have homozygous PEMT. This is around phosphatidylcholine production, which decreases because estrogen plays a part when you are postmenopausal. This is all liver. And we were seeing this liver load like crazy. So that was expressing reduced glutathione, master antioxidant, inflammation, reduced glucuronidation. This is around sex hormones and toxins, likely an undermethylator. Definitely was happening. So impaired detox pathways, reduced vitamin A levels. That also is playing a part around the iron and everything else. Low GAD1 enzyme function, and GAD1 converts glutamate to GABA. And a lot of what you were eating in the processed foods, very high glutamate. So can't shut that brain off. So you got that plus the slow COMT, those two work together. And then the histamine. So with that MTHFR, that puts you big time increased risk for histamine sensitivity. And then add in HNMT, homozygous there. That breaks down histamine inside and outside the gut. So you're impaired there. Eating a lot of high histamine foods, right? All of this was acting up. And interesting, your AOC1 genes, which specifically break down histamine in food, you didn't have issues there. But it was other things dialing down. Very low estrogen dials down DAO. So all of these things were happening. You guys were eating a lot of, again, processed things with wheat in them, these folic acid with flours and
That was another one.
Your husband had the folic acid issue really badly. I think to the point of some toxicity there. Got him turned around there. But DHFR genes, if you listen to this week's podcast on MTHFR myths, you'll hear about DHFR. Because MTHFR in and of itself isn't, stay away from completely of the folic acid. Look at these things in combination. You had the MTHFR huge, plus DHFR, which the main thing there is converting the folic acid to folate. And you had potentially negative effects of folic acid. And then add on to this, both TNF and IL-6, your two big inflammation SNPs, homozygous in both of those. So increased inflammation starting out, right out the gate. Increased risk for metabolic syndrome. Check. Obesity. Check. Especially with saturated fats. Check. Like all of that was playing. And interestingly enough, again, undesirable response to saturated fats, but weight loss from a low carb diet, which most doctors would have said, oh, we have some prediabetes or insulin resistance, go low carb, very low propensity genetically. So we already saw that. But positive stuff here, some wins. This was like 3 months in.
It was the first lapse after 3 months.
Your reverse T3 dropped from 33 to 16. Still a little elevated. Massive drop. Massive difference. Apolipoprotein B or ApoB went from that 82 borderline down to a completely perfect 68. Your insulin went from 8.7 to 4.8.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing here, people, is no, we did not do a low carb, a high protein. We did
Yeah.
heavy veggie,
Yeah.
moderate protein, very low at night because
Yeah.
this was causing her issues. And then so that drop in reverse T3, liver stress decreasing, and then the halting of that shunting over to that reverse T3. That foundational dietary structure, major difference. We did do the sterile test, the plant sterile test for you.
Yeah.
You did not come up as a hyperabsorber, which was shocking. We thought that might be happening,
Yeah.
but you're an overproducer.
Yeah.
So that's where we had to tweak a little more and really work with those fats. Pam's never going to be one that's going to be able to do a lot of fats. And we had to work with different plants
Yeah.
or veggies that she's eating that can drive that up.
Yeah.
So we didn't test the LPA again. Your
Well, I've got labs coming up soon.
we
So,
had
so
yep,
this
and
is
we
an
didn't
ongoing process for those of you who are listening.
yep
Yeah, my second lab's
this week.
wow,
Yeah.
but it's been another 3 months, so I'm going to get another set of labs. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Let's see. The small LDL that increased a little bit. We didn't want that to increase, but it was normal actually for it to increase a bit. You guys were still doing some cheating with some things in there at that time, months back.
What? Us cheat? No. Mm-mm.
Also, that PEMT that we were trying to get on track. Ferritin had dropped from 191 to 151, so we're still working on that. The and we had looked at using DIM with you, but your estradiol was so low, we went with calcium D-glucarate
Yeah.
to help with that. Let's see what other big wins there were here. Yeah, the insulin that was huge, and
Yeah,
the
that's
glucose
huge.
so we got you out of insulin resistance, out of that apolipoprotein B, that risk there.
And just so that people understand that feeling. So the feeling before all of this, it's like this sense of doom. You feel it. You feel like, oh my God, I feel like I'm about to turn diabetic, right? You just feel horrible. And I don't have those feelings anymore.
Yeah.
My body feels better. I feel healthier. I don't have this sort of sense of doom that I'm about to have a heart attack or about to become diabetic or whatever. So it is such a wonderful feeling to have those things for to not have those feelings. You know what I'm saying? To
Yep.
just kind of
Yep.
have that released and have that go away. And I have to say this for people who are listening. When you hear Susan talk about all those gene names, okay, CONT, MTFR, da 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 da. Okay, just so you know, as a normal human being, me and my sister,
Yes.
we don't know what all of those things mean. Even after working with Susan for 6 months, we're still learning.
Hey,
It's
whatever.
okay. But what Susan helps us with is what's happening with them, what's going on. The vision of the bathtub. So me, I'm the person my body is the person that just retains and doesn't get rid of things. And so her analogy was to envision a bathtub and it filling up with all the hormones and everything that's going on during the day. And then at nighttime, when your liver is supposed to be clearing things out, my bathtub has a drain that is the quarter of the size of everybody else. Just to have that visual, I didn't need to know what all those different genes
Yeah.
were. I just needed to know what was happening in my body so I can start to help it, do things to help that bathtub drain easier, drain better during the day, maybe not fill up as much, these kinds of things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been phenomenal. The transition has been phenomenal, and I actually look forward to continuing. This is by no means, oh, I've reached perfection. No.
I've been doing this for how long? And I'm still
Yeah. Mhm.
working on me all the time
Yeah,
to
and
be
things
optimal.
happen
It
in our
takes
life, right? Trips,
yes,
whatever, this,
yes.
that, a stress comes along, something changes in your job. I had to move last week, whatever. These things happen and it's okay. It's okay. Just keep working with your body. Once you start understanding these dynamics in your body, just keep working it. Keep helping it, reaching out
Yeah.
when you need more help.
And it's not just the food. For you is also having the movement,
Yep,
but at the right times, the right
right.
kinds, but also that break in the day or you do in the evening
Yep,
with the legs up the wall and just
yep.
breathe, right? To bring the calm in.
So when I talk about my past and that I was trying everything in Norway, while I was trying the GLP-1 shots, I was also meeting with a trainer at 7 a.m. in the morning
Oh.
and doing HIIT, high intensity training. And when those sessions were over, I felt horrible and I never lost a pound. And this is why I was so discouraged by the time I met you. I just was like, nothing is working.
Yeah.
I was even working with a trainer and that didn't help at all. As we know, my body doesn't wake up. 7 a.m. Wrong. My body was still sleeping. I was exercising in my sleep. So it was doing nothing for me. And HIIT training, my body don't like that. So stress hormones were going off like,
Going
what the
off.
heck are you doing to me? So now that we understand these, or that I understand these things about my body, it's just been fantastic. And I know Leslie's the same. So I know she's got her whole story to tell you guys too.
And it's been fun watching her faces.
Mhm.
As her reactions as you're talking about stuff, a lot of nodding and
Yes, just so you know, the listeners know, okay, I talk to my sister all the time. So
Yeah, so there's a
all
whole
along the
back scene
journey,
here.
right? We're discussing, oh, did Susan tell you this? Oh, yeah, she told me that. What does this mean that Susan said? Oh, is she making you do that? Oh, me too. So these discussions have been going on for months. So it's been actually really good to have somebody else going through the program too, that you can talk about these kinds of things and share your wins with, but also somebody to help motivate you through some of these humps that, okay, hang in there, just get over this little hump. You'll be okay in the end. So it's been really cool. It's been really nice.
And for you, Pam, having that cheerleader, because Leslie is very much the more the positive. She will celebrate the wins more, where you need to be reminded more. So to have that reminder on a consistent basis is really an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Didn't get there overnight, Pam.
Yeah. And I think we covered pretty much everything.
We've covered everything. It's close to the time that I have to go.
It is.
So I'm going to say just the one more thing about my business, because that helped me tremendously too.
Do it.
So obviously a huge thing with me is stress, right? My body doesn't do stress. It doesn't regulate stress. It doesn't handle the stress hormones. I am crap with stress, which is what we figured out. And before I found Susan, I found something called IASIS neurofeedback. And I was having panic attacks. And that's where it all started. Was I started going to this practitioner and getting this treatment for those panic attacks. And those panic attacks went away, and it helped me start to bring my stress down and just feel better about myself. And it actually put me in a mental place where when I did meet Susan, I was ready. I was ready to start making changes in my life, and I was ready to maintain them, right? Because I could, when things were getting too stressful, instead of resorting to food or whatever I used to before, I was able to have a treatment, calm my nervous system down, and keep going. And so just for the listeners, Susan will put this in the bio about my business and neurofeedback, but realize all of that is part of the lifestyle. That when you figure out what is going on with you, you can do a lot of different things. So you can do all the DNA and the food and that kind of stuff, but you can also do things to help decrease your stress and just make your lifestyle healthier for you. And
absolutely,
that's my big push, is that find out what's going on and then find some things to help you.
Love that. And you're local only, right? You have to go in person.
You have to go in person. So I personally live in Huntsville, Texas, is where I operate my business. Yeah.
Yep. So I think I want to make that important point, so that if people are searching for you, that they know this is where you're located.
And the truth is, if somebody is hearing this podcast and you live somewhere else, you can still email me and I will tell you how to find a practitioner in your area.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, because they're all over the US. So just so you know, one of these things, okay, I go to visit Leslie and my mom now does these treatments, and it's really, really helped her as a 94-year-old decrease her stress and just have a better quality of life and that kind of stuff. These practitioners are all over the US, and
And isn't this all about quality of life?
Absolutely.
It's quality of life doesn't have an age stamp. I just started an 80-year-old woman. She's like, my gut's off. It's been off for a year. You just popped up. She's like, I don't even listen to podcasts, and you just popped up.
Yeah.
Right? We're all where we're supposed to be at the right time, but it doesn't matter if you're 80, 94, 60, 30, quality of life matters.
Yeah,
And
it
just because
does.
we age doesn't mean it should decline. So
And
that's
and
what is
I think
a point.
quality of life and taking the time to find resources that really help you.
Yep.
And TikTok fads don't help you, right? Instagram messages don't help you. Really find good resourers that help
And there's
you.
no
So,
such thing as a quick fix. So
yeah,
all these people that are injecting themselves or taking the pill, I feel for
yeah,
them. They're not fixing the root cause. They're
yeah,
not fixing the root problem.
Pam, thank you so much for your honesty, your vulnerability, just being raw and real
yeah,
with everything you've been through, because it's
yeah,
not easy talking antidepressants. You're talking feeling so horrible and hopeless.
yeah,
And to have thousands of people hear this,
yeah,
thank you, because you're going to reach somebody that needs
yeah.
help, that felt the
That's
same way you did.
that's the important thing is we
Yeah.
we have to reach out. We have to let people know it's okay to feel horrible. It's okay. You're not alone, but
You're
let's
not
do
alone.
something about it. Let's
Yeah.
get you some good resources in your life that can help turn things around and that you can feel better. You can change. At 64, at 64, I've lost 45 pounds. I've changed my life. I feel so much better. You can change too.
And all of your business information is going to be in the show notes.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
if someone wants to reach out to you and
Yeah,
just say, hey,
absolutely.
thanks for saying what you did. You never know. You might get an email like that, which
Yeah.
that will lift you up too.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. You go
Okay.
and have a fantastic day.
Okay.
All right.
All
Get out
right.
there, be your most authentic self as always, and just spread the love, spread the message, sister. Thank you for tuning into my podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, I'd love for you to share it with someone who'd find the information useful. Please leave a review anywhere you listen to podcasts, and it'll help the information get out to others. If you're interested in seeing if we're a great fit to work together, the link is in the show notes below, where you can sign up for a free consultation with me. So go make it a great day and let your authentic self shine.